Greetings class, welcome to Duel Academy. ProfessoRivas here, and this will be the third lesson of your third class, Deck Building 101, Building a Deck. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to be up to date with the latest Duel Academy lessons and assessments. So without further ado, get your deck, get your game on, and let's get started. Before we get to deck building, we need to know some terminology. Win condition, the key goal or goals of the deck to ensure you win. Consistency, how quickly and concisely a deck can reach its win condition. Versatility, the ability of a deck to adapt to other decks and situations that it is playing. The consistency and versatility of a deck have a seesaw effect. The more you have of one, the less you'll have of the other, meaning the more cards you use to make the deck consistent, the less room you have to insert cards to make it versatile. The more cards you use to make the deck versatile, the less room you have to make it consistent. Starters, cards that initiate your plays that require almost no setup or activation requirements. Extenders, cards that work alongside starters to complete your strategy or combo. Bombs, blowout, boss, cards that may require additional setup to potentially devastate your opponent, usually seen in the mid to late game. Engine, starters, extenders, and bombs that are central to creating your strategies/combos to ultimately reach your win condition. Defense/protection, a card whose chief role is to protect your strategy or keep you in the game. Removal, a non-engine card that removes some sort of barrier that's keeping you from playing. Staple, a good card that could be used in many decks. Now that we understand the terminology, we can review the first method of making a main deck. This method requires the purchase of 3 structure decks. A structure deck is a pre-made deck designed to be playable straight from the box. However, purchasing 3 allows you to have a playset of all the cards in the deck. These decks may be based on a certain type, attribute, or archetype, usually containing a built-in strategy. It is important to identify the deck's starters, extenders, and BBBs. Once they are identified, you may follow the ratio guidelines displayed on the screen. Once the deck is complete, it is critical to playtest the deck that you built. The next method to make a main deck is known as net decking. Net decking is exactly what it sounds like, going on the net to research and copy an already established championship winning deck. Some resources to effectively net deck include YGOProDeck.com and TCG Player. YGO Pro Deck allows you to research not only championship winning decks, but casual decks as well. Once you know what cards are needed for the deck, you can utilize TCG Player to purchase the singles to physically make the deck. Some duelists frown upon net decking, claiming it discourages creativity. However, I believe that net decking can help create the standard base for a deck, and through playtesting, you're able to edit the deck to match your own playstyle. By altering the ratios of cards and inserting your own tech choices, it can become a deck you can call your own. The final method we'll be discussing in this lesson to create a main deck is the research and build method. In the last class, deck types, you were shown the graphic organizer below that matches decks to their playstyle. However, without any knowledge of the archetypes, you may not know which one to build. This is where your research comes in. In the Yu-Gi-Oh!.fandom website, you can research all things Yu-Gi-Oh!, including deck archetypes. The deck archetype pages may include an archetype's design, playing style, strategy, weaknesses, optional support, and recommended cards. With all of this knowledge, you're able to utilize TCG Player to buy the singles and build the deck. As always, playtest. When building an extra deck, you may put beneficial extra deck archetype monsters and even beneficial extra deck non-archetype monsters. Remember, the extra deck can strengthen the main deck's win condition, compensate for the main deck's shortcomings, and even create alternative win conditions. When building a side deck, you may add cards that combat well with certain matchups, and/or cards to compensate for the main and extra deck's shortcomings. If you notice your opponent is running a spell and trap relying deck, you may want to side in spell and trap removal like Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclone, and Harpy's Feather Duster. If you notice your opponent is running monsters with powerful effects, you may want to side in cards that negate effects, such as Effect Veiler, Dark Ruler No More, and Forbidden Droplet. If you notice your opponent is running a combo deck that ends with a strong board, you may want to side in cards like Raw Sphere Mode, Nibiru, and a Kaiju to break the board. As you can see, there are many scenarios to side certain cards. Earlier in the lesson, I brought up playtesting. Playtesting is just testing a deck. Here are some hints to properly playtest. Concentrate on optimizing plays as opposed to winning or losing. When playtesting, the goal isn't to win, it's to see what plays the deck is capable of, so make sure you focus on that. Generate multiple opening hands. By doing this, you're able to see many different combinations of hands and what plays are possible in each of those hands. Play with an open hand. When you and the person you're playtesting with play with an open hand, your opponent may offer some insight on your hand that you may not have seen before. Experiment with different combo avenues. It's easy to fall in love with a combo when you see that it works. However, it's important to experiment with different combos during playtesting to see if there are better ones that suit different scenarios. Adjust card ratios to suit your playstyle. Maybe you put 3 copies of a card in your deck, but notice you see it more than you need it. Or maybe you put 1 copy of a card in your deck, but you need it more than you see it. Playtesting is the time to adjust the ratios accordingly. And lastly, playtest both in person and with online simulators. Playtesting in person allows you to get that human interaction and advice, but the games may run slower. Playtesting with online simulators like YGO Pro and Dueling Nexus allow you to play many games in a short period of time. Online simulators are also beneficial to test a deck before purchasing it, saving you money. Thank you so much for attending this class. There will be a quiz in this lesson, so don't forget to take it. Your final exam will follow soon after. I hope you have a great day, and class dismissed.